Hey, how y'all doing? It's Judge Lynn. I hope you're happy. Hey, what's happening? I'm being joined by Decca. Decca, say hello. Hello. Okay, y'all can go back on your way. My son's up and they were playing ball, so they're all huffing and puffing and everything. I was going to debut my Toler Fro, but it was frightening. It didn't work out. I grew out my relaxer, so now I'm just gonna go wash and put a lot of stuff in it, but I haven't figured out what stuff to put in it. And then actually, you have to cut your hair after the froness goes, not before. So I've been trying to figure that out. So, like y'all care. This is something y'all care about. Uh, Someone stole my Facebook page a long time ago. It is check marked. I don't know why they don't take it down because it's got the most inappropriate stuff. Now look at that, my shirt's dirty. Most inappropriate stuff on it, and it's reaching out to people, and I have warned people, but it's just it goes on and on and on and on and on. Now they took down my IG site because I was, you know, I would give credit to everybody I could see in line, but I never got all the way to the original thing. So they took my whole thing away. I wasn't even doing anything rude. But that's okay. That's all right. That's what happens. But I'm just saying, anybody that reaches out for you, somebody said I was selling horoscopes or go into your DMs and ask you to do something. I'm not doing any of that. What I am doing with you is if you want to ask a question in the comment section or ask a question on my IG page, which is Real Judge Lynn II. Stupidest handle ever, but it's the one I got. I just did it on the fly. So there you go. And you can DM me there if you don't want the comments to be all out in the comment section. I did have an email, but that didn't work out at all. Now, I'm coming at you from a place of fairly heavy crank, and I'm not quite sure what caused it. I do know that I had a conversation with my sister this morning, and that sucker went south so quickly, and I can't figure out why. And I know it was my fault. So I have got to call her and apologize, but I can't do that until I figured out why the conversation went south in the first place. Because I don't, because it'll go right back there. Because I intended it to be positive. I was happy when I saw her name on the caller ID. What happened? I don't know what happened. But can I say this? My sister and I are very forgiving of one another. And it's a good thing to be forgiving. I think, these days, a couple of my sons, a few of them, a lot of them, deal with in business with Ford that face the public. And y'all, the public, we have been publicing rather poorly. Now, I'm not going to say, I always ask you to know how you feel before you leave the house so you can unintentionally circulate your crank around to other people. But I think we have a whole new problem on our hands that it's kind of like I got a lot of different directions I want to go before I do any of them. Sneeze never came. You thought I was buffering, didn't you? Now, all I can see is the dirt on my shirt. That's all I can see. I can see you too, but I won't be bothered. Are you satisfied there? You got the trash going out. Trash day. But anyway, I was getting ready to go in some direction. I don't even remember the different direction I was going. Oh, you're forward facing the public. And I remember when I was facing the public on the regular in the 1990s. And that's what encouraged me to write the book, My Mother's Rules, because I felt I was in a municipal court. So it was like when Bob and John got in a fight over the dog poop in the yard or something. It wasn't murderers, and it was domestic violence. It was, carrying concealed weapon, DUI. It was, but I thought I saw from the bench a tendency for us to become more and more distraught about smaller and smaller things. And it was concerning to me that we didn't seem to have a handle on our emotions. And your emotional life is the one that you don't really see or pay attention to, but it's down there dictating business like nobody's business. And it's telling you how to hear. Do you see the page? I know why I can't find the page I'm looking for. I tore it out. I can't keep nothing right. But anyway, I thought I saw from the bench a growing sense of entitlement, and uh, and I wrote a chapter in the book called "The Commandments of Culture," which categorized the concerns I had about what I was seeing culturally in the community that I happened to be in, which was being shared by more people than I thought. But the first rule on the commandments of culture, which I think we break all the time, is beware entitlement inflation. I wrote this back in 2000 and something. Entitlement inflation is a dangerous thing. People who feel entitled to a lot get disappointed a great deal, and disappointed people go around angry, cranky, didn't get their way. We are very entitled these days, and we have uh, we have a sense of, well, why shouldn't I? Well, why can't I? And why do I have to? You know? And um, I was going to tell a story, but then the person might know who I was talking about, so I can't tell you that story. So, but beware entitlement inflation. I saw a case, and it was just like, are you really entitled to what it is you want, or do you just really want it? Now, if you're entitled to it, there needs to be a reason why. You know what I'm saying? I'm not entitled to go to the head of a line that is long. Some people feel that way. Um, I'm not entitled to interrupt other people's conversations. Some people feel that way, but I don't know. Those were stupid examples. But anyway, oh, I know. I had just read an article in the paper about a man who was taking the school district to court uh, because for discrimination, because and it wasn't racial discrimination or anything like that. It was because uh, uh, his daughter didn't make it onto the soccer team, and she had missed the deadline. And then his response was, yes, but we were on vacation in California or in Hawaii, and the deadline should not have applied to us. Someone actually filed a lawsuit that said that, and this was like 20 years ago. And I thought, well, what's happening here? I saw not too long ago a lady, uh, I watch her. I am consumed by Zoom court. I don't know how these judges do it. People go on and on and on and holler at the judges. Oh my goodness gracious. I think it's because it's in Zoom. Like when you in court, they know, oh, I didn't like what you said. You going to jail right now. And I think when you lose that and also lose the sense of we don't respect authority a lot. And there's some good reasons why we don't, this, that, and the other thing. But woo. And the other rule I wanted to talk about was watch your superlatives. If everything is an outrage, horrendous, tragic, superlatives are the penultimate of anything. Bad, worst, the worst is the superlative. Good, better, best is the superlative. Every time you go into a situation that ain't turning out right, is it really an outrage that your Big Mac was a little cool? Was it really? I mean, you may have been really tired when you had it and really wanted to sit down with it and enjoy it. And you might be really upset that it wasn't quite what you wanted. But is it an outrage or an understandable error? You can't determine how mad to get it at somebody else's error by the by your response to that error. If your response is people make mistakes. You make mistakes. I make mistakes. Listen, I used to say my middle name was my bad. Lynn my bad Toler. I will apologize in a minute because I will own it. There's 99% problem. I only caused what a bit. You gonna get an apology for that 1%. And you'll also get a change of behavior for that 1%, or at least you get an attempt to change that behavior at 1%. But the thing is, we're living in a day and age where superlatives are necessary because the house is loud. We live in a high volume household. That's what I used to call them in here. It's like when people were living in houses where everybody's arguing all the time, it's hard to get heard. Well, our whole community now has become a high volume household, you know, and our e-life is really high volume. So in order to click, you got to have horrendous, outrageous, destroyed, da da da, and all of that, even though you know it's clickbait, all of that constant diet of you keep drinking grape juice, as I found out, it will no longer agree with you after a while. So we got to construct our emotional house around us to withstand the pressure that we're under. It's like, remember, I used to talk about marriages in disassembled communities, communities where, you know, everybody's partying and not a lot of married people. There are a lot of late nights. They're not, you know, people coming over late and partying outside and do. And I've had a couple of couples in divorce court, and I just saw one the other day, which has reminded me of this. There were two good people that were living in a community where everybody was milling about, and it didn't support marriage. So I said, you can't just get married, sit in the house, and then think everything gonna be okay because you live in a community that does not support that structure. I lived in a community that did because everybody was married. Over here, over there, everybody was married. And everybody did marry. People didn't come over your house at 11 o'clock, want to hang out. And they weren't doing it. Husbands were working, wives were at home. I mean, that's where I came from, which was different from from everybody. I mean, everybody brought up differently, but I'm just saying in those communities, my mother was raised in a community like that. There were just not a lot of, there were not a lot of married couples around, and there was a lot of this, people were drifting from here to there, and that's just kind of how you do business. And I told them, I said, and I told them they had to construct something that would deal with the pressures of that environment. Uh, you had to have rules about who could come by, and they were everybody. We are the Joneses, so everybody know in the community, man, you can't just drop by over to Jones's house because they ain't doing that kind of thing. They're at home doing homework and talking and having dinner. You have to decide that there's going to be rules about your e-life and have them to be strict rules about your e-life. Don't talk about I shouldn't have to this and that and the other one. If you are trying to create something that is not supported by the community, you can't just say I don't want to do this thing because it's not fun or I shouldn't have to. You have to do it correct for the community, your way and the correct way, you know, not the correct way, but the way that will support your marriage will probably be different. So I suggested a corner in the house in the room where you go, where there are special rules. We got to hold hand and have a conversation. I told them about all day foreplay, how you caught, you have to work harder, just like when you take those submarines down, the tight and the big thing, you have to work harder in a high pressure situation. You really have to make a lot of adjustments that and rules if you want the thing to work. Now, if you want to still party like you're single, I don't know why you got married anyway. But anyway, I was just saying that was like now we have to construct our psyche in a manner that allows me to leave the house. I have to fix. I have to. I really do wear that hat. Oh, this has a spot on it. I do laundry all day. I don't know what happens. But anyway, um, we have to construct our emotional houses in a manner that can withstand the pressure of a divided society. Men and women ain't getting along. There's just, I mean, there are major shifts in the economies and what jobs will work. Remember the day they were saying, and if you can code, you'll never not have a job. Now AI is gonna code everything and this, that, the other thing. So, but anyhow, it's just. But I'm not talking about jobs and stuff. What I'm talking about is surviving the emotionality that our e-life exerts on us. You gotta have rules. Like I'm creating some rules because I got stuck. What was I doing? I was mired in my own dark spiral on YouTube. It's terrible. It was just terrible. And it colored everything I saw and everything I did. And then, when I talked to people outside, everything just got darker and darker and darker. That's probably what probably pop blah 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 blah. If I could speak, you might know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying, we're all in an emotional pressure cooker. So wouldn't it be cool if we made cool a priority? And I'm not saying be laissez-faire. I'm not saying let wrongs go. I am not saying uh, uh, don't support the causes that you want to support with your full throat. I'm just saying reach over the counter at the McDonald's employee when you got a diet Pepsi instead of a Pepsi. Or do they have Coke over there? I don't know. I haven't been in a while. I kind of want a Big Mac. I haven't been really hungry lately. Ooh, someone suggested on my other thing that it wasn't my shirt, it was my bra, and it was because I've lost a cup size. I'm so excited. I don't enjoy food anymore, so it has its upside. Anyway, I just, go out there act like you got some sense. Excuse me, I'm sorry, my bad. I try to be super extra nice to everybody, and I do wear that hat. Feelings are fleeting, felonies forever, just in case I might accidentally offend, disturb, hurt, or otherwise impede the progress of your perfect day. I want you to know that I'm human and I'm sorry. I started out agitated, now I'm just amused, and I don't know what I'm talking about. So I think I've done my job. Now I gotta go figure out why I'm upset with my sister. Call her back and clean it up. Y'all have a good day. Get out there, act like you got some sense. Please. Please.